I really love horror movies. I always have. Um, I remember when I was very young watching Gremlins at my grandparents' house, and I'm pretty sure the first one was an 18. At least the cut of it we had was. It didn't really need to be, thinking back. Like, there was some stuff in it that was scary, and finding the teacher's dead body with a syringe stuck in the butt. It's been a while since I've seen it, but you know nowadays nothing that could justify an 18. But at the time, it was freaky enough, and I loved it. I really did, because I was always better than my cousins with fear. My nana likes to tease one of my cousins that's the uh, same age as me, and about how I was always encouraging them to go on scary rides and the like whenever we went on their family trips together. And apparently, I just wouldn't let it get in the way. And it is not letting it get in the way as opposed to not being scared. Um, a conversation I had with my girlfriend a couple of years back was when we did a production of The Producers, and they needed extra males for it. And so I ended up joining in. And as the run up to the show came, um, she noticed I was getting really tense and stressed, and that I was seeming genuinely afraid. And so she asked me why I'd agreed to do it. And I told her that I've always had stage fright, but I realised a long time ago that just because I'm scared of something, that's not a good justification for me to not do something. That's the background on that. And the idea of needing a justification to do certain things and needing a sufficient justification ties in with the rest of the video. Because a lot of horror movies rely on people making stupid decisions. There's all sorts of them. I don't even in good movies, there are times when the killer will be lying unconscious on the floor and they don't double tap them. Um, and you know that's something that, even though the term double tap became a lot more popular after things like Zombieland 10 years ago, um, even before that, the concept of, oh, the killer's on the floor, well, finish them then, was always there. Thing is, good horror movies tend to mean the threats are things that can still come for you even when you're making the right decisions. You want your characters to make decisions that are justifiable for them in the circumstance. So, in Gremlins, as great as the movie is, there is a glaring plot hole where he can't get the police to believe him about the Gremlins, and like he's got a dead science teacher he could show them, um, and that's not really something that is justifiable. Them dismissing him based on his claims, the cops in that scenario, are antagonistic, but understandable because they have lived in a world where it's the same as someone coming up to you now and telling you that monsters have started attacking. You're going to want to see some proof first. Um, but Billy not telling them about the teacher's dead body, that's not justifiable and also pretty negligent. Um, but horror gets a bad rap for this. People will always harp on bad horror movie decisions. It's something they really focus on for some reason. But in my experience, drama is much worse for it. There are so many things I watch where the characters just don't speak to one another and they don't have a real reason not to. it tends to be something along the lines of, oh, it would be moderately embarrassing, or oh, I don't like that person too much, so I'm not going to just offer this information. And those are some weak motivations for not dealing with the drama sooner. And the thing is, if there's sufficient justification for them not sharing the information, then absolutely it can be really good, really powerful. So let's take Knives Out as an example. That has the same drama I'm talking about. People aren't sharing 100% of what they know with everyone. Everyone's holding back to some degree in the witnesses and with the when they're being interviewed, and that's because at the start of the movie it wants to play like we're thinking, oh, who's the killer going to be? And I'm not going to go into any sort of spoilers, but it's a classic whodunit thing. They all have things they have to hide, but they don't want to hide specifically just that bit, because then people will be able to see the shape of the whole of what they've said. You know, the whole in their testimony will essentially outline the thing that they don't want people to know, so they punch a few other holes in it as well. Justifiable. Someone's been murdered and no one wants it pinned on themselves when they know they've all, or at least most, got motives. Good justification. And in horror movies, there's a fair few where too stupid is the motivation for them making terrible decisions. Thing is, it does tend to lead to us occasionally having horror movie characters where you're like, if they die, they die. Whatever. I now know this video is coming out late because the clock behind me says it's midnight at the minute. So, yeah. Oh, 10 past midnight. Yeah, this definitely isn't coming out. The I was planning on it. Oh well, whatever. I'm being quite loose on the on my deadlines. So, where was I? Yeah, so just come up with a justification for it. And that's one of the big differences between people looking at your book and or your film, just being like, yeah, whatever happens to these characters, they deserve it. Is they need to have a narrative in which they're the good guy for making the decisions that they are. In Knives Out, you know, we know they're not good guys for withholding information from the police, but in their mind, what they're doing is not being the person to get pinned down and framed for a crime just because they had a motive. Fair enough, justifiable. And whilst I hate those characters, it's not because of that decision. It's because the whole family is made to be moderately despicable. You know, again, a few exceptions within it, but most of them not good. And I think the reason that I've been thinking about this so much is because too many people in my life watch soap operas. They always leave out the justification. Everyone acts like they had a bowl of coffee beans for breakfast and they aren't able to take their emotional level below a 7 out of 10. And they always react as negatively as possible to the things around them. To me, all the soap operas that I end up like being in the same room as, and therefore paying attention to, because my attention deficit disorder will not allow me to focus on what I want it to. It means that I'm constantly seeing people making decisions as bad as the worst ones in horror. And the thing is, I can't completely blame them, because making bad decisions is a way of producing drama. And, you know, it's hard to keep drama up over several decades, which is how long so many of them have gone on for. I'm just saying, I think horror movies are better than soap operas. And I think you will find a lot more intelligent decisions in horror movies than you will soap operas. yeah, I guess this just became me talking about how much I hate soap operas. Yeah, they're not for me. However, I am going to make sure that my characters have justification. It's something I need to work on because in the last bit, I'm having my character be a real douche to an authority figure. And that's because I have problems with authority figures. I need to justify within the text why my character would as well. Anyway, that's it for this video, I guess, and I'll catch you tomorrow.